Ladies and gentlemen, has Israel lost the propaganda war? Douglas Murray chimes in right now in this TV interview. I am tall, the traveling clad, your favorite white colonizer. Read the shirt and weep, and buy it on thetravelingclad.com in the description to support the channel. And let's get right into it.
Media when it comes to informing the public.
What Israel suffered again here in the UK.
But isn't propaganda also part of the explanation? You probably have to accept, as I do too, that Israel has lost the war on social media when it comes to informing the public about what's happened. How much of the data out of Gaza do you think is trustworthy? Because it's very difficult. I know you've been very close, but you can't get British journalists in there to verify much.
Well, I've been in there plenty, and other journalists have been, actually. I've been in Gaza with other British journalists.
OK, so it is possible to get better data than that supplied by the Palestinian health authorities?
That's tricky because, of course, Hamas still runs Gaza. And the BBC and others run the Hamas health ministry figures as if they're legitimate. Undoubtedly, there have been civilian casualties in Gaza. Undoubtedly, Hamas has talked them up. But equally undoubtedly, Hamas started the war. Hamas is losing the war. That means that Hamas fighters are being killed at a very high rate. The Hezbollah and Hamas leadership has been decimated in the last 18 months. But fourthly, yes, because of the nature of which the death cult of Hamas operates, they deliberately, and this cannot be said often enough, they deliberately flout every law of war and make sure that every law of war that the IDF uses is used against them. It is not meant to be permitted to dress as a civilian whilst being a fighter, to hide in civilian houses, to fire RPGs from mosques, to shoot from hospitals, to hold hostages in basements of hospitals, to use civilian houses as torture chambers. There was one guy, I mention him in the book, among the 4 so-called Al Jazeera journalists who were killed, who Al Jazeera said, oh, these are just innocent journalists. One of the journalists in question was shown when the IDF collected laptops in Gaza to be one of the heads of Hamas's rocket department. So, innocent journalists, but just built rockets in the evening, as I'm sure you and I do.
Casually.
We'll leave this studio and go straight back to RPG assemblement.
Yes,
and the second one on that quickly was that one of the people who contributed to Al Jazeera and other media during this war wrote all these pieces about how terrible it was for the citizens of Gaza to suffer the IDF's retaliation for the 7th. Forgot to mention to his readers that he was holding Israeli hostages in the basement of his house where he was torturing them every day.
Although the IDF have made mistakes themselves.
For
We've
sure.
had that aid convoy, 15 aid workers, we believe, killed recently.
Well, that's still being disputed, but I don't doubt that there will be innocent people who have been killed. And the reason for that is that Hamas travels in ambulances, in aid convoys. It uses every single thing it can. And until people realize that one of the things about the death cult mindset is the society we are from wants to minimize civilian casualties. Hamas thrives on civilian casualties. We love life. They love death. And the literal taunt of Hamas, Hezbollah, and the others is that the Westerners, the liberal democratic Western mindset believes in life, and they believe that's something they can use against us. I say it's one of our virtues.
Douglas Murray, thank you very much.
Get Douglas Murray's new book. I'm just kidding. Douglas doesn't, as much as I love Douglas, he doesn't pay me to promote his book. I'm sure it's a great book, okay? But if you want to buy something right now on the internet from someone, buy a white colonizer shirt. Support a man who doesn't have any TV interviews at the moment. Okay, and then get Douglas's book. And I'm sure Douglas's book is great. Look, no one's saying, I don't think anybody's ever said that the lives in Gaza that are lost don't matter, because they do matter. The reality is, though, when you start a war, and I get this comment often, they're like, how could you, with all the kids and the death and then this and then that? It's just like this posturing of standing on top of the bodies of dead children, fresh dead children's bodies and dead women, dead journalists, and everybody in Gaza is either a woman, child, or a journalist, and just dishonestly advocating for the destruction of Israel by virtue of the fact that there are more people dead in Gaza than there are in Israel. It's like, it's so disrespectful and it's so racist. The question is, are you stupid? What do you actually think Hamas's goal was on October 7th? Do you think they actually thought they could have taken over Israel or liberated Gaza, liberated Palestine? And this is the problem when it comes to this whole argument, is you have all these dumb liberals in the West. You have all these dumb people that are unrelated who don't even understand. They couldn't point to Gaza on a map if you asked them to. They don't know where Rafah is. They don't know where Jabalia is. They don't know where Gaza City is. And so they don't understand the actual makeup of how ridiculous it would have been for Hamas to actually break into Israel properly and take it over. And so they think that this might have been some sort of actual moral war somehow that was started, and it was an attempt, and now we're just keeping the fire alive. First of all, that would be totally justified. But two, you have to understand something. Nobody's advocating for the fact that their lives don't matter. Their lives matter, but they're 1,020,000% of the fault of Hamas. It's nobody else's fault that people are dying in the region at the moment. It's just Hamas and the Islamic regime of Iran. It's only the fault of them. And the thing is, you come off as so stupid. Because when you post your bullshit all eyes on Rafah and you post all the stupid propaganda, the pro-Hamas propaganda you push, you're literally just exasperating the situation. You're making it worse. And you don't even know why you're doing it. You're just doing it because it feels good for you. You get a dopamine rush to be a part of something. Because you got to put on an ethnic garb called the kafia that somebody in Columbia University told you was a Palestinian thing, when in reality the Palestinians stole it from the Iraqis. And it's a Mesopotamian garb. So all in all to say, yes, Israel may have lost the media war, but that's also because as Jews and Israelis, we fucking completely suck at PR. We don't support each other. It's a total mess in here. And I can tell you guys, I do it every day. And I'm completely unsupported. If it's not for this audience who keeps me alive and pays my bills, nobody else does. I don't get any support from anyone. It's just you guys. It's 100% grassroots. And it's like this for so many creators who are fighting this PR war, and we're all actively doing it as a full-time job. People tell me, Tal, go get a job. You know what my full-time job is? Literally combating bullshit propaganda. That's all I do all day. That's literally my fucking job. And I actually think I'm making a difference in this situation. I mean, you guys let me know how much I'm educating and teaching and expanding your mindset on it, so I don't want to stop. But that's the reality. The reality is we're also terrible at doing this. We do a very, very bad job at supporting each other. We rather waste tens of thousands of dollars watching. Wow, I'm going to go really deep into this rabbit hole. But we rather waste tens of thousands of dollars watching a pro-Israel or Zionist creator do a TikTok dance than bring somebody like me for a few $1,000 to go speak so I could pay my rent for the month, to come educate people, to come do a thing. And I'm not just talking about me. This is a situation that's going on with all the creators, all the speakers doing this right now. It's a crisis in the PR front of Israel. And with all due respect to Douglas Murray, with all due respect, because he's an incredible person, I think it's a little weird when we bring on people like Douglas Murray or Destiny to represent Israel on places like Piers Morgan or Joe Rogan, and you have this vast swath of Ethiopian Jews and Mizrahi Jews who could be doing the talking for Israel, whose life stories literally combat the pro-Palestinian narrative, and they just get swished to the side. And now this is becoming a bit of a rant on the Jewish/Israel side, but it's kind of ridiculous. We do a shit job at representing ourselves. Absolute terrible job. And the last thing I want to say about this is you need to understand something very clearly. We're in a fight that's unwinnable from the perspective of the PR battle. You have a group of 2 billion people, okay, and a couple other billion peoples who are by periphery, who by default support Palestine. Your odds of winning that media war are just impossible when you have 2 billion Muslims who mostly, okay, generalization, but mostly brainwashingly, blindly support Palestine just because it's a Muslim country or an Arab country. Your odds are already very low from the get-go. And I think, to be fair, we're putting up a pretty damn good fight, considering how small we are in the world. We're not winning, she's right, but we're putting up a pretty damn good fight. We're not going down without a punch, and that is something I can say I'm extremely proud of. And if you want to keep supporting the journey and want to help me keep doing it, buy some White Colonizer merch down below in the description, amongst other things you could buy to support my channel. And I will see you guys in the next one. I love you long time. Goodbye, Klats.
If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to support me, being PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining my Patreon community down below. Patreon is the best way to support my channel, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks depending on what tier you join. Another great way to support me is by buying my merchandise on thetravelingclat.com. I regularly drop new merch designs like this beautiful hat, or this amazing shirt, or you can support the channel and get something cool for yourself. I also have an amazing Discord community with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for your support.